A new deadline demanding answers on claims of lost or delayed mail happening all across Georgia.
Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joy Lim-Nakron joins us now. And Joy, state leaders are issuing a pretty hard deadline on this now, aren't they?
That's right, Tori and Blair. Lawmakers have now set a deadline of May 10th, less than a month from now, for answers about those mail delays. Senator Warnock, Representative McBath, and a few others sent a letter to the Postmaster General demanding accountability and also improvement. Atlanta News First has reported numerous issues of Georgians missing mail, some for over a month. In their letter, lawmakers said, quote, "We have increasingly heard from Georgians about disruptions and delays in their essential postal services. As USPS implements changes to its network, USPS must ensure no Georgians, especially those with limited mobility options and urgent needs, are left behind." Postmaster General Louis DeJoy is actually set to testify in front of a Senate committee tomorrow, and Senator John Ossoff has already said he plans on grilling for answers.
When I hear from my constituents they're having issues with the Postal Service that impact families' safety and security, or just the orderly delivery of mail necessary for quality of life and commerce, I take action.
Now, the letter from Georgia lawmakers also demands details about how USPS will ensure that communities and individuals with limited mobility or limited access to transportation services are going to be better served. Tori and Blair.
Joy, thank you.